Ish cracks Marc Lamont Hill's muffin on the Joe Budden podcast.
Oh, you rather pander and play politically correct?
Pander to who? Is this two people in there? That's not what pandering means. I'm just saying. I want to do what I think is right, even if I think that it is a popular opinion.
That's pandering. You go.
I want to do what is right, even if it's popular. Did you say I want to do what's right?
You're screaming for no reason.
I apologize. Listen to what I'm saying. No, that's not pandering. No, hold on. I said if doing what you think is right is not pandering.
You're lying.
No, I said
you are lying to your wife. She asked you a direct question.
You said what you think
is right. You gave a politically correct response as opposed to telling what you really feel.
Listen to what I just said.
That's not a lie, Mark. You said I have a list and I'm telling her no, there's no list.
That's not what I said.
We saw Marc Lamont get cooked, and he wasn't his usual polished professor bag. He was very triggered. He was screaming. I never seen Mark act like that on the pod. And it was during a heated debate about whether widows should move on romantically after losing their husbands. Now, this was triggered by the conversation in regards to the rumors that Vanessa Bryant may be pregnant by some young baller. And it later was proven not to be true. But the conversation would lead to most of the male cast expressing discomfort with the idea of women moving on if they were ever to pass. Mark, in contrast, gave the polished, progressive take. Oh, it's a woman's choice, which is cool, respectable, but then Mark slips. He reveals that if he died, there's actually a list of men he wouldn't want his wife dating. He even admits that he wouldn't tell her. I wonder if Boyce Watkins is on that list. Then that's when Ish attacks. Now, Ish is often dismissed as a street smart but not scholarly thinker. But he was able to flip the table. He calls Mark out, not just on the contradiction, but on the performative nature. Essentially saying, you judging us for being honest, but you got a whole mental no-fly list for your wife longer than Joe Budden's strip club tab. It was witty, it was sharp, and the way he got at him was exactly what's needed, I believe, to de-arm Marc Lamont Hill and get rid of this multi-winner of the Potter of the Month. And Mark didn't like it. He got loud, he got emotional, defensive. He's usually calm, collected. It was the most human and nonsensical I think I've seen him. Now, of course, he's still polished. He's still Marc Lamont Hill. But he was just on the back foot a little bit. I've never seen him like that on the pod. And to me, what triggered Mark wasn't just the pandering accusation, it's that Ish hit a nerve. Mark often leads with easy, acceptable takes that make him sound like he's taking the moral high ground. But I believe under there are real messy feelings just like everybody else on the show. He comes off as a little bit better than, and he's great at podcasting, but there's times when he's talking, especially about this widow thing. He knows he don't want his girl moving on, but he led with that opinion. Why couldn't he just be honest? And Ish forced that to the surface. Yo, dog, you lying, man. And Mark said, I'm not lying. Well, Ish, I know you're withholding information from your wife on this podcast to make it seem like you would be cool with her dating another person after you pass away. This was like when Paul Gasol in 2010, when he came back for revenge on Kevin Garnett for punking him in 2008 in the finals.
Back out, Posey for three. Back of the rim. Garnett on the slam follow.
Remember, everybody was like, yo, Paul, you soft, you trash. You from Europe. You can't get busy. KG took your soul. And Paul Gasol cooked him in 2010. Showed him what it really was. Became the best Spaniard to ever play the game of basketball. This time, Ish wasn't playing around just like Paul Gasol. And Marc Lamont looked like Kevin Garnett with a bad foot. He just wasn't ready. For those who slept on Ish, it's time to reevaluate. The crack in Marc Lamont's friendly-facing facade, they're showing a little bit. And Ish might be the one who exposed them. Now, I made this joke about Marc Lamont being Joe Budden with a library card. And I do think Marc Lamont, much like how Joe would do, he's going to come back to the pod and try to get Ish. I hope Ish is ready. It's time to gather the banners. It's time to really think about if he wants his crown back. Because if Ish is able to get under Mark's skin, we might be getting to the next level of this. But let me know what you think in the comments. I think it was very fascinating. I think it's time we appreciate Ish a little more. I'm not saying he's perfect, but after the flat earth thing, everybody was acting like Ish was the stupidest dude ever. Hell, I did a bunch of pods where people were saying he was the worst podder of the month on a podcast with Ice on it. So Ice is just praised for being mediocre, And Ish, even though he had some of the most viral moments, was called a bad podcaster. Now, granted, he was dejected. He was feeling removed. But it looks like they gave him some time off, and now he's back on the prowl. All right, y'all. Please follow me on Instagram, The Stop TV. Please follow me on Twitter, The Stop TV. Follow me on Patreon. Let me know what you think. I got some videos there. I did a video with Rocky. I did a video with Furious from WeWorks. And I also did a space with me and Marc Lamont and Guru. They happened to join on the space I was throwing.
Only reason I ain't been on Joe's podcast is sort of out of respect for Rory and Maul.
Whoa.
There's no lying with me. So everybody know that Maul is big little brother. You know what I'm saying? So if they got a problem, it's like almost like your cousins is fighting and you know, you don't want to jump in the middle of it, but that's out of, I would never disrespect Rory. I would never disrespect Maul. But I don't have a problem with Joe. I don't have a problem with Ice. I don't have a problem with Ish. I don't have a problem with none of them. You know what I'm saying? I would go on there if they gave me the blessing.
So it was a big occasion. Some stuff is going up there on that Patreon, man. $3. It's cheap. It's crazy how, like, I made my Patreon $3, right? Because I was like, oh, I don't want to charge too much. Now, granted, I know a lot of people will never pay for Patreon because that's just how they are. But there's people who want to support who will pay it. And now there's people like, oh, I got $3 is mad sad for a Patreon. I thought leaving it at that price would be very, very good. I thought that would be dope. Because that's what I would, if I was a fan of whatever content I make, $3 would be very entry level. But we'll see. We got more good stuff coming on the Patreon real soon. So stay tapped in. June's going to be a big month. And I'll see you around. This is Danny from The Stop. Peace.